This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Good evening. As Republicans bask in the winner's circle and defeated Democrats pull their wagons into a defensive circle, following House approval of President Reagan's budget blueprint yesterday, there was word from the White House today about a budget cut proposal no one wants, but the Reagan administration now says it has to have. Bill Plant reports.
The Reagan administration has concluded that it will have to cut the increase in Social Security payments by $8 billion in fiscal 1982 because the Social Security Trust Fund is going broke. It is a move almost certain to cause the White House severe political problems, since President Reagan promised specifically that Social Security retirement benefits would remain untouched.
All those with true need can rest assured that the social safety net of programs they depend on are exempt from any cuts. The full retirement benefits of the more than 31 million Social Security recipients will be continued, along with an annual cost of living increase.
Spokesman said at the time that Mr. Reagan meant basic old age and survivor benefits would remain untouched. The budget proposal referred to the president's action in maintaining the safety net as a sense of priorities that is both clear and widely shared. But now, faced with the need to find larger cuts, Budget Director Stockman has begun talking about trimming so-called unearned benefits, some of which do go to the elderly, and some of which go to the surviving spouses and children of workers. The administration insists that retired persons now getting checks won't have them reduced. So, sources admit that makes it likely that future increases and benefits will both be cut. Bill Plant, CBS News, the White House.
In a piece of economic news as welcome as a spring day, the government reports tonight that wholesale prices last month dropped below double-digit levels at an annual rate. The Labor Department said today those prices increased 0.8% in April, not much more than half of March's increase. The April figure translates into a 9.9% annual rate. At the same time, the Labor Department says that unemployment in April remained at a 7.3% level for the third straight month. With a cautionary note, Ray Brady looks at the reasons behind what appears to be an inflation slowdown.
Gasoline at less than $1.03 a gallon. America in 1979? No. West Bend, Wisconsin this past week, where motorists actually came to the pump carrying cans. Not because there was too little gasoline, but because there's too much. West Bend had an old-fashioned gasoline war. Midwestern drivers, hit hard by unemployment and high fuel prices, have cut back their gas use more than other Americans. But across the nation, people are driving less. A slowdown that's helping put the brakes on inflation, because last month, wholesale gas prices, which had spurted up 7.5% in March, rose only 1.3%. In food, another break for consumers. Wholesale prices held steady in April. The new figures bring the annual wholesale inflation rate down from its March level, 16.2%, to less than 10%.
Economists say that while consumers may get some relief from sharply rising prices in the months ahead, inflation is simply not fading away. Even in today's figures, there were increases in the kinds of products that can nibble away at a family budget. Items such as drugs, clothing, shoes, cigarettes, and light bulbs. Ray Brady, CBS News, New York.
The Federal Communications Commission today gave final approval to a 16% increase in tolls for interstate phone calls. The FCC also approved a 35% cut in the prices of overseas calls. Both changes take effect next Thursday. The stock market was mixed today.
Would you be able to pick up this pan?
No, that hurts in here.
An actual arthritis minor pain flare-up.
Just hurts, period.
Here are regular strength tablets used mostly for headaches, and one with 50% more pain reliever, and it's double buffered. Pick one.
Arthritis pain formula.
It works for hours. Try it. Remember this pan?
It does not hurt when I pick it up. I can pick that pan up now, and I could not pick it up before. I am going to buy arthritis pain formula. It's great.
You see those nasty little characters? Those are termites, one of the most destructive creatures on Earth. Each year, they tunnel up from below ground and damage more homes than fires, tornadoes, or hurricanes. Terminix scientists developed a sure way to stop them. What we do is put a chemical barrier between your home and the ground that kills termites on contact. If you're worried about termites, give us a call. We'll keep them out of your house. We guarantee it.
The California case of those 27 elderly patients who died mysteriously centered at first on two small rural hospitals. Today, the investigation moved into the Los Angeles area. Barry Peterson has that story.
Throughout the day, the task of exhuming the bodies continued. 11 will be autopsied over the weekend amid reports that connected the 27 deaths to overdoses of lidocaine, a commonly used heart drug. And today, the case widened significantly. Los Angeles authorities admitting they now have an investigation underway at 4 area hospitals where a male nurse linked by authorities to the deaths once worked.
If you would talk about an investigation into deaths or possible homicides, that's what the police do best.
So you're calling on some help then from police expertise?
Sure.
Meanwhile, the nurse, Robert Diaz, remained in seclusion in his Riverside County home. He told a newspaper interviewer he was questioned by police and a quantity of lidocaine seized here, but he said he brought the drug home from work accidentally. A friend described the mood inside the Diaz house today.
A lot of stress, tension. It's really crazy. It's just like a nightmare.
Diaz said he administered lidocaine and was there when several patients died, but declared his innocence. No one has been charged in connection with the case, authorities saying they cannot move until the autopsies are completed sometime early next week. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The Oregon Museum Tavern in Salem, Oregon, after the shooting was all over. 3 bodies are carried out from the Museum Tavern. A young sawmill worker, a semi-automatic pistol in hand, had walked in, and as the survivor told it, he didn't say nothing. He just started shooting. He shot perhaps 14 rounds. Bar patrons fell left and right. The man fitted another clip into his gun and fired several more shots before he was wrestled to the floor. 20 persons were wounded. 1 died on the way to the hospital. Late today, the gunman, Lawrence Moore, was charged with murder. Tests showed no drug or alcohol influence to account for his behavior.
The making of Taster's Choice. Take the best ground roast fresh perk coffee you know how to make. Then freeze it. To lock in all that fresh perk flavor when you remove the ice, you'll have rich, natural chunks of freeze-dried coffee made by a premium process that's unlike ordinary heat drying. Taster's Choice, regular and green label decaffeinated. The only leading coffee that's freeze-dried.
Fact, you're about to witness an act of violence. Brute force exploding, unleashing friction at its worst. Because when you start a cold engine, it's barely protected by motor oil. What can you do? Fact, use the black oil Arco Graphite. The oil with graphite. The lubricant that makes Arco Graphite reduce friction better than any other leading oil. Arco Graphite, the oil that's fact, not friction. Look for Arco Graphite's $1.80 refund offer.
The Centers for Disease Control today reported discovery of a pneumonia strain resistant to 3 major antibiotics used to fight the disease. The CDC said this is the first instance reported in the United States of a pneumococcus resistant to all 3 drugs. That is, a pneumonia strain resistant to all 3 of those drugs. The strain was isolated by doctors treating an 11-month-old infant in Denver last November, but was not publicly reported until today. But the Centers for Disease Control said 14 other children in a daycare center attended by that infant also carried this resistant strain. The spokesman tonight said it's more of a danger flag than a public health problem at this point, but added that it underscores the need for an effective vaccine. Well, hot weather and hot political contests certainly are nothing new in the south of Texas, but when the voters of McAllen, Texas, turn out to choose a mayor tomorrow, their choice will involve more than the images of the candidates and their attacks on each other. Steve Croft reports it will also involve the videotaped images of local police attacking and beating their prisoners.
It is a classic political matchup. Mayor Othel Brand, a conservative patriarchal landowner, against Dr. Ramiro Caso, a Mexican-American physician who built his constituency providing free medical care to farm workers. It has been one of the most bitter campaigns in South Texas history, complete with political vandalism and dirty tricks, a campaign waged on the emotional issue of police brutality. Videotapes made public during a lawsuit 2 months ago, and now the subject of a federal grand jury investigation, showed McAllen police officers brutally beating prisoners, most of them Hispanic. The tapes infuriated the Mexican-American community, and for the first time pulled it together into a potent political force.
We don't need 4 more years of intimidation. We don't need 4 more years of the iron fist.
Dr. Cusso is charged that Mayor Brand knew about the videotapes as far back as 1977 and failed to act, a charge the mayor denies.
These investigations currently underway are the result of action taken by the mayor of the city.
There are 2 campaigns being waged here, one in English on the north side of town, the other in Spanish in the barrios of McAllen's south side. They have deepened racial and ethnic divisions here. On Spanish radio, Dr. Cusso has attacked Brand as inhuman, a barbarian. Brand, before Anglo audiences, has countered with charges that Cusso is the tool of the United Farm Workers and outside agitators.
It's the people behind him. The Cesar Chavez, the UFW, and
the election is expected to produce the biggest turnout in McAllen history. 5,000 absentee ballots have already been cast, a whopping 15% of the electorate. Regardless of the outcome, the campaign has changed the nature of politics in the Rio Grande Valley and opened wounds that will be slow to heal. Steve Croft, CBS News, McAllen, Texas.
The Air Force said today it will close that Titan missile launching site near Damascus, Arkansas, damaged by a blast last fall, because it would cost $80 million to repair it. The complex was shattered September 19th by a missile explosion that killed 1 airman and injured 21 others. The massive wooden doors of the famous and historic San Diego mission survived fires started by Indian raiders in 1775, but they may not survive the laws of 20th century man. Terry Drinkwater reports.
The doors must swing inward so the devout can easily come in to pray, said the founder of the mission, Father Junipero Serra, in the late 1700s. Wrong, says the San Diego Fire Department 200 years later. They must swing outward, and the order must be complied with by next Wednesday. The inspectors claimed the parishioners would not be able to escape with their lives should there be an earthquake or a fire during crowded services. The doors weigh 300 pounds and are 15 feet tall, a menace to safety, say department officials. The fathers feel otherwise.
Well, I don't think there could be much danger from fire because it's all solid concrete, adobe, and the walls are 3 feet thick, and so there's not much danger of fire that I can see. Possibly earthquake, yes, but we haven't had those in a long time anyway.
It will be a dark day for California's oldest mission, say the Franciscan Fathers, if the church architecture of the centuries is violated by this new building and safety code. Terry Drinkwater, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Tulsa, Oklahoma seems an unlikely place for a lion hunt, but there it is, a whole passel of policemen on safari. The cops caught the lion finally, but that was only part of the day's hunt. They'd been told that a new tenant in a housing complex had a strange collection of animals in his place. The officers rounded up not only the lion, but also some very mean-looking snakes, a wolf, 4 rabbits, some rats, and a half-dozen exotic tropical birds. The animal-loving tenant was booked for keeping wild animals within the city limits.
If one Rolaids tablet isn't always enough for your acid indigestion, watch this Tums demonstration. 1 Rolaids and 1 Tums tablet are added to stomach acid. Both neutralize the acid. But on those occasions when your stomach has even this much more acid, Tums can still absorb it. Rolaids can't. Because tablet for tablet, Tums neutralizes 1/3 more acid than Rolaids. For acid indigestion and heartburn, all you may need is this. Tums.
For Mother's Day or any gift-giving day, Timex is making time look good.
9/22 is a joy to see. And won't you be surprised by 2:45? Give Timex. We're making time look good. 7:05 is a beautiful way to take the time to say Happy Mother's Day. Give Timex. We're making time look good.
President Reagan and Japan's Prime Minister Suzuki met again today and appeared to move closer to a meeting of the minds on the touchy issue of defense spending by Tokyo. Suzuki said he came away with an unshakable feeling of friendship and trust in the U.S. and would move to do more in the way of defense, but within the confines of Japan's constitution, renouncing war and standing armies. Suzuki reportedly cited another reason in private, the level of social programs and spending for those that the Japanese people want. France's Communist Party has fallen on hard times and is in decline. This may have helped the socialists surge, so much so that in the runoff election Sunday to determine who will be the president of France for the next 7 years, the socialist candidate is now rated no worse than even in the race. Don Kladstrup is covering the campaign's final hours.
With thousands cheering him on, President Valéry Giscard d'Estaing seems to be a picture of confidence. What the picture doesn't show is the deep fear he and supporters share, that his bid for re-election may fail. Surveys, which once gave the French president a commanding lead in the race, now indicate he has no better than an even chance of winning. Good news for challenger François Mitterrand, making his third run for the presidency. In the last election 7 years ago, the socialist leader lost by less than 2 percentage points. Many think Sunday's balloting could be even closer.
One thing is very important in this election, and that is the sheer capital of contempt and hatred that both candidates have. Very few people this time are voting with pleasure, and this at all levels of society. People feel that whatever happens, whether Giscard is elected or Mitterrand is elected, the main problems, that is to say unemployment and inflation, are not going to be solved immediately.
In a nationally televised debate this week, the candidates escalated their attacks. The president warning that Mitterrand's election would lead to a socialist communist government. Mitterrand blasting Giscard for failing to curb unemployment, which has tripled since the president took office. What many, on both right and left, dislike about Valéry Giscard d'Estaing is his lofty royal style. To reshape his image, the president has adopted a more down-home approach in campaigning, meeting with the country folk and billing himself as the citizen candidate. Anything to erase the notion, as one magazine suggested, that he's a man who would be king. He warns voters that the choice in Sunday's election is between right and left, between continued growth for France and a country that, if Mitterrand's elected, could see communists enter the government. Mitterrand, trying to avoid ideological confrontation, has abandoned the kind of firebrand rhetoric that might scare moderates who are planning to vote for him. Instead of presenting himself as a revolutionary, he pays quiet visits to senior citizen homes, listening politely while residents sing for him. Or he'll stroll southern France amid the Camargue region's famous wild horses. No speeches here about nationalizing French industry.
Ever since 1958, when de Gaulle returned to power, France has been ruled by a conservative president. If that is still the case after Sunday's voting, it'll probably be by only the narrowest of margins. Don Kladstrup, CBS News, Paris.
The Irish Republican Army says another inmate of the Maze prison in Belfast will start a hunger strike tomorrow, joining the 3 who are fasting now. The spokesman said that any striker who dies, as happened to Bobby Sands, would be replaced. He said there never would be fewer than 4 inmates on hunger strikes at any given time until and unless Britain recognizes the inmates as political prisoners. Hundreds of young people are reported to be causing trouble on the streets of West Belfast tonight. Those streets were littered today with derelict and burned-out vehicles of all sizes and descriptions, just more flotsam from the violence. John Blackstone is there.
A familiar story is told on Belfast radio.
With lorries being hijacked and set on fire in Albert Street and on the Glen Road, police have advised drivers of such vehicles to avoid West Belfast.
The driver of this vehicle did not avoid West Belfast. It fell into the hands of the hooded young hijackers of the housing complex known as Divis Flats. The people who live here have seen it all before. The truck carried supplies that can be used in the ongoing battle against soldiers and police. The sacks of feed grain provided reinforcement for barricades. The gas tank was the prize. It was drained to fill bottles that became fire bombs. The truck, parked in a strategic position blocking the road, was set aflame. The smoke brought in the police to avoid trouble they just watched. In the early morning, when the streets are empty, they'll return to clear the wreckage. John Blackstone, CBS News, Belfast.
Last month, almost everyone who works in a newsroom, and many who don't, were talking about Janet Cook of the Washington Post. After being voted the Pulitzer Prize, Miss Cook resigned, admitting the 8-year-old heroin addict she wrote about did not exist. Late today, columnist Michael Daly of the New York Daily News resigned his job under a similar cloud. Daly quit after it was confirmed that a British soldier he wrote about in Belfast for Wednesday's column does not exist. Daly, who's now back in New York, wrote of an alleged skirmish between soldiers and rioters hours after the death of hunger striker Bobby Sands. Today, 2 British publications, the Daily Mail and The Economist, charged that the column was, and we quote, lying propaganda and, again quote, work of pure imagination. Daly tonight acknowledged that he used a pseudonym for the British soldier, who he claims did not want to be named. The Daily News editor said Daly was guilty of using misleading journalistic techniques.
Hey, no. Say bye.
Oh, it's coming along nicely, June.
Yeah, but not for me. My doctor says too much caffeine makes me edgy.
Well, why not try Sanka brand decaffeinated coffee?
I'll take real coffee.
Sanka brand's 100% real coffee. You'll love it.
I do.
June, the show is a big hit.
Well, I'm really hitting it off with Sanka brand.
Sanka brand. Enjoy your coffee and enjoy yourself.
During the Indianapolis 500, you can change tires, you can change brakes, you can change spark plugs, you can even change drivers, but you can't change the oil. Those are the rules. So a motor oil's got to be tough enough to last through 500 hot, grueling miles. More of last year's Indy 500 drivers depended on Valvoline than all other brands of motor oil combined for their everyday driving too.
Since you can change your oil, shouldn't you change to Valvoline?
Valvoline. It's not just for winning races.
Many a man is secretly convinced he can whip any man in the house. Combine that with hard times, and he may die trying. Bob McNamara reports.
There's no sport, no science to it. It's brawling in boxing gloves. 2 men with little or no ring experience slugging it out for a blood-hungry crowd and maybe a cash prize for the winner.
Are you ready to see the toughest guys in the Port Huron area?
Tough man, tough guy, whatever the contests are called, they've been staged in hippodromes and honky-tonks in 43 states. And battered, often bloody and sometimes broken men litter the trail to a national tough man title and its $50,000 first prize.
That's a nice hunk of change, you know, especially the way the economy's going. Guys are dying to make money.
And guys are dying, trying to make money this way. 23-year-old Ronnie Miller, out of the Marines and out of work, died last March in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Miller, on the right, suffered a brain concussion in this tough man bout his uncle watched.
He was knocked out 4 times in 2 rounds. How many times you got to be knocked down before a referee calls a fight?
Miller's family has made a crusade of picketing tough man contests in West Virginia and Ohio, urging fans and fighters to stay away.
I hope no mother has to suffer what I'm going through now. It's bad. I never expected that to happen.
All you have to do is 1-2, straight jab, cross. You can catch him. This guy's a sucker for a right hand.
Critics of tough man and tough guy tournaments accuse promoters of preying on the unemployed, accuse them of staging most bouts in mining, steel, and automaking towns, where unemployment rates run twice as high as the national average.
That's where your tough guys are born from the breadline, not from the Rockefellers.
Some get in there to try to make the money, but the majority of them, they don't. They just go in there. It's a lot of fun to them.
Johnny Valentine didn't take a pounding several nights ago for the fun of it. Cut and scared, he stayed down for the count. It scared his wife and small son, too. But times are desperate.
I've been laid off my job about 2.5 years, and I thought that this would be the only way that I can get the money.
Ron Himmebach was beaten the other night, too, and later was on a stretcher bound for Port Huron, Michigan's hospital with head injuries. Did he fight for the fun of it?
For the money.
For the money? Are you out of work?
Yes.
How long have you been out of work?
About 3.5 months.
In a Des Moines, Iowa hospital chapel, Marjorie Cortez prays for her husband, Jesse. Jesse Cortez, an unemployed electrician and father of 2, underwent 5 hours of brain surgery after a tough man bout last month.
He doesn't even know that he's in the hospital from time to time. He doesn't know where he is.
I don't want to sound harsh, but you don't see us dragging anybody in the ring. These fellas want to fight.
In this ring at a country western bar outside Los Angeles, 21-year-old Vic Avazian suffered head injuries in a fight and died last month after 47 days in a coma. No licensed referee or medical help was available at ringside, and Avazian signed forms releasing the bar owner of responsibility.
I would say that an individual has to take some responsibility for his own actions.
In Pennsylvania, the death of Ronnie Miller has prompted the state legislature to consider a bill that would jail and fine tough man promoters. And the boxing or athletic commissions in 7 states have banned tough man contests, condemning them as brutal and dangerous exhibitions. Answering local newspaper ads that promise $1,000 to the winner of regional contests, these tough guys in tough times don't deny that perhaps like the promoters, fighters want a fast buck too. They admit lying about having trained the required 30 hours for the bouts. Some skirt the truth about their medical histories. And because they may be desperate, they sign a release absolving the promoters of any medical bills if they're hurt. Their hands then become their only defense. But the well of public sympathy for this seems almost dry.
You got the guts to go in and fight, I guess. It's your life, man. If you want to die that way, you can die that way.
Bob McNamara, CBS News, Port Huron, Michigan.
That's our report this Friday. Bob Schieffer will be here tomorrow. Dan Rather, CBS News, New York. Good night.
Ain't sun-kissed sweet? Well, its goodness can't be beat. It's so fresh and juicy, plump and heavenly. Ain't sun-kissed sweet? Don't you know that it's the best we grow? 'Cause we only stand the pick of the crop for you, don't you know?
Whether it's oranges, lemons, or grapefruit, you have our word on it.
Ain't sun-kissed sweet?
What happens to 2 little plants like these when you plant them, give them identical care, but feed one Stearns Miracle Grow plant food and one the other leading type? I'm John Cameron Swayze. At a famous university, hundreds of tests like this prove Miracle Grow consistently produced more flowers. What an amazing difference. That's why Miracle Grow can guarantee you more flowers, more vegetables. For the Miracle Garden, Miracle Grow.
This has been the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather. The action continues as the Celtics face the Rockets in Houston for Game 3 of the NBA Championship. Live tomorrow here on CBS Sports. This is CBS.
As we first reported 2 days ago, another governmental scandal is surfacing in Middle Tennessee, this one involving county officials and kickbacks. Details coming up next.
I never have to hunt for my Dodge 024 Miser in the parking lot. It's the one with the high mileage. That's higher mileage than this Toyota Corolla or Datsun 200 SX. Yet the 024 Miser is sticker price lower than both of them. And the 024 Miser seats 5. The import's only 4. Yep, you can always spot a...
Hey, how do they do that?
Ask your Dodge dealer.
Test drive Dodge 024 Miser and compare it to qualifying competitive models. We'll pay